Eiffel Tower, you go to Paris, different places in Arc de Triomphe, all these wonderful places. And around here you have to go to the holy chateaus, Chambord, another amazing building. We have to take Prithu Prabhu. I don't know if he's here today. Where is he? He was here just now. Someone has to take Prithu before he goes to visit. He's here. He is here. He live a long life. But now we're going to visit somewhere else. We're not going to visit a chateau of this world. We're not going to visit a tower of this world or arch of this world. We want to go to visit another world. And I see today, the verse is a very historic moment, actually. It looks like it's the first verse of the 10th canto. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is a very, and this doesn't happen very often. Perhaps this is your second round of reading Bhagavatam. I don't know. In France, in Paris, in New Mayapur, how many times you've gone through the Bhagavatam in class. But this is probably not the first. And today is a wonderful. So that would be the subject today. It wouldn't be a bad idea. One of the main intentions of the 10th canto is to establish the personality of Godhead. Not just his existence as an unmanifested, undefined existence of some, whatever, all-pervasive, love, God, creator, whatever. No, but a personality, the most sublime, the original person whom we all look for. So it's to establish that personality as the supreme personality of Godhead. Not just Godhead, but the supreme personality, 10th canto. But right now, all I have in front of me is a board, a wooden board with no book on it. So how do we do that? Perhaps, here comes the book. Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's the wrong book. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You've been in Germany too long. They put their fingers in their ears when they hear the Hari Nam. No, they get it. Everywhere around the world now, people are open to the Hari Nam Sankirtan. Have you got the 10th canto there?
Yes.
Part 1. Great. I think Nitai Sachi Sutta completed the 9th canto yesterday.
Yes.
And introduction, huh? It's a preview, a little tiny preview to the 10th canto. So today we're on the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, chapter 1. And we're not going to read the summary. It's a very long summary. The summary is simply a chapter 1. Well, oh wait a minute, this is different. Okay, there's a summary of the 10th canto, which is chapter by chapter summary. We're not going to read that, and we're not going to read the introduction either. The introduction to the chapter is very long, and it again goes through a kind of a breakdown of the verses in the chapter to some extent. And it will be covered in the verses themselves. So we're going to today go on to text number 1, which is on the board, I believe. Text 1 on the board.
Yes.
Shri Rajovacha Katitaha Vamsha Vishtaraha Bhavata Soma Surya Yaho Ragyam Cha Upaya Vangshanam Charitam Parama Adbhutam Shri Rajovasha Katito Vangsha Vishtaro Ragyam Chobaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajovasha Katito Vangsha Vistaro Bhavata Soma Suryayoho Ragyam Chubaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Natito Vangsha Vishtaro Bhavata Soma Suryayoho Ragyam Chubaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajovacha Katito Vangsha Vishtaro Bhavata Soma Suryayoho Ragyam Chubaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shira Javacha Katito Vangsha Vishtaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Ragyam Shubhaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shira Javacha Katito Vangsha Vishtaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Ragyam Shubhaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam
Shira Jovacha Katito Vangsha Vistaro Bhavaryam Shubhaya Vangshanam
Charitam Paramadbhutam Ladies Shira Javacha Katito Vangsha Vishtaro Bhavata Soma Suryayo Ragyam Shubhaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shira Javacha Katito Ragyam Shubhaya Vangshanam Charitam Paramadbhutam Shri Rajavasha King Parikshit said Katitaha has already been described Bhuksha Vishtaraha a broad description of the dynasties Bhavata by your lordship Soma Suryayoho of the moon god and the sun god Ragyam of the king Cha and Upaya both Vangshanam of the members of the dynasties Charitam the character Paramam exalted Adbhutam and wonderful. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is quite a long purport, so please try to bear with us. Are you okay with the translation, Nitai?
There is no books in French, but I will.
As you like, if they can read the book, jolly good.
Okay.
Pardon? Huh?
There is no French.
Pardon? Canto? You have it on your mobile. Okay, well there is book. There are books, Canto in French. It should be available. Try to find one copy for the temple at least. Of course, the new Bhagavatam set does have this volume inside.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. The new Bhagavatam translation, well, it was done a long time ago, went up till the 13th chapter of the 10th canto. That's where Srila Prabhupada finished his translations. King Parikshit said, "My dear Lord," who's he talking to? Sukadeva Goswami. "My dear Lord, you have elaborately described the dynasties of both the moon god and the sun god, with the exalted and wonderful character of their kings." Purport. At the end of the 9th canto, 24th chapter, Shukadeva Goswami, he spoke of how Krishna had personally appeared to reduce the burden on the earth. How he had manifested his pastimes as a householder, and how soon after his birth he had transferred himself to his Brajabhuma Leela. Parikshit Maharaj, being naturally a devotee of Krishna, wanted to hear more about Lord Krishna. Therefore, to encourage Shukadeva Goswami to continue speaking about Krishna and give further details, he thanked Shukadeva Goswami for having described the activities of Krishna in brief. Shukadeva Goswami had said, and we heard this verse, I think Bhagavati was giving class a couple of days ago. She lectured on this very verse. Jato gatak pitri bihadvajam meditato hadvaripum sutashatani krito rudaro utpadakeshu purushakratubi samije atmanam atmanigamam patayam janeshu. 9th canto, this is perhaps 20. Godhead Sri Krishna, known as Leela Purushottam, appeared as the son of Vasudeva, but immediately left his father's home and went to Vrindavan to expand his loving relationships with his confidential devotees. This was his real business. He had many businesses, but this was his real business. The other businesses had to be done also in order to enable conditioned souls to be eligible to approach this real business, and also to facilitate his devotees who have a different aspect of devotion to the Lord. Many things had to be done. In Vrindavan, the Lord killed many demons, and afterwards he returned to Dwarka. Interesting statement. Returned to Dwarka, as if that's his original home or something. What it's referring to here, we could say, is on the the plane of what is manifest. We see it like that for those who are conditioned souls. Krishna appeared in mature, which is also considered to be mature Dwarka, considered to be, that plane, and his father and mother, they went to Dwarka, and so on. So it's referring to that which is manifest by those who have not eligibility to enter into Vrajabhumi, the spiritual realm. So they'll see it like that. So of course Krishna never, his real eternal abode is of course in Goloka Vrindavan. And the pure devotees always see it like that. Very interesting. One time Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is the spiritual world like, Srila Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, this is the spiritual world. You can't see it. Right now, we can only see according to the coverings of our heart, even when we go to what we call the manifest aspect of Vrindavan in India, we see according to our coverings. People in the mode of ignorance see it as a dirty, broken down, austere place. Not for me. Huh? Too hot, too cold, too something or another. Too many monkeys, too many this, too many that. For me. Or they might be so much in the mode of ignorance, they see this is a good place. I can just lie around here and people throw money at me or feed me or something. Something like that. People in the mode of passion will see it as a place for enjoyment. MPT, restaurant, pizzas, pies, this thing, that thing, girlfriends, boyfriends, you name it. Huh? A nice trip out with really far out, When I get back, I hope do you get the cigarettes ready? Or whatever it is, Some other thought on your mind, you get a little bit of mercy, for sure, a lot of mercy. But we're still not really absorb it and put aside mode of passion and ignorance and just try to hear and chant. And we're aspiring, but we're not really in Vrindavan. The pure devotees, by their mercy, they give us this opportunity, you can say, by their association. That's why the nectar of instruction is recommended once you go to Vrindavan, and they serve. Well, that's the highest plane. We're not on that plane. But to serve the highest pure devotees of the Lord. That will be mentioned in a minute. But right now, we're just trying to appreciate the process which will enable us to become eligible to see. We hear that in this world it's Gokul Vrindavan. Huh? Sometimes the distinction is there between Gokul Vrindavan and Goloka Vrindavan. Is that right? We hear that. Of course, there's many different definitions of the absolute. They're absolutely one and the same, and then sometimes they appear different, and so on. Different pastimes take place when Krishna appears in this world, like killing demons, etc. So many pastimes which take place in a kind of a different way, you could say, in the original Goloka Vrindavan, but not like in this world. There are no demons in Goloka Vrindavan as such. There's the appearance or the feeling of their presence to enhance, spice the pastimes, but there's no demons there. But they appear in this world, many pastimes. Krishna doing this, that, the other, going on in this manifest to some extent. We have some through the Krishna book. Now, isn't it amazing that Prabhupada, one of the first books he produced for the Western world was the Krishna book. And of course, the Acharyas go deeper in ancient scriptures. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the most confidential, is it not? Everything's there. And Prabhupada put the most of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The 10th canto is like the essential point of the whole Bhagavatam. And inside there, the intimate pastimes, most intimate, are described. And Prabhupada gave this first. Even before, I don't know exactly the chronology, but before many other books. Even the Bhagavatam, at that point we only had the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam available. the Indian edition, Prabhupada's first edition. The Bhagavatam to Srila Prabhupada was so important. One time that we hear usually that Srila Prabhupada went to America with the Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, no. The Bhagavatam went to America and I went with it. It's so important. I mean, the world doesn't know. They have no idea. We don't have any idea. We're still interested in God knows what. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is like it's a gateway to where we're meant to be. We don't belong in this world. We don't get it into our thick skulls. We don't belong in this world. We're trying hard to make everyone think we do. And you better listen to my impressions and give me what I need. Even in ISKCON, it's almost all like that. Me in the center. How I feel, what I want, what I think. Who cares about that? Only me. We ought to think about what does Krishna want? This is like we say like an infant training ground. We're like infants on the spiritual path. So a little there. But it's also important to at least know what the goal is. We're not just here to play around from lifetime after lifetime. Ending, remaining attached to material things, blah, blah, etc. It's going to be there, we're coming with it. But the whole point is transformation. Not so much of the world around. No. It's a transformation of how we see the world. Not the world. There's nothing wrong with the world. It's how we see it. That's the problem. We see it from my point of view, and you see it from your point of view, and your point of view, and this way we all see it differently, and we argue and fight over it. Even Krishna consciousness. When we're impure, when we're sleepy, we don't see it correctly. We're going to get some rest in. We start dreaming, right? When you fall asleep, it's like God knows what's going on in there. Wake up. So we are seeing what we see, and we're hearing what we hear, and we're doing what we're doing, and it's all meant to gradually purify the way we see our consciousness. The consciousness is you could say, the means of seeing or perceiving, feeling, and then consequent reaction of how we judge things and judge people, etc. So to purify that means of seeing, just like we have the spectacle, and without the spectacle I can see, but it's all blurred. Not clear. Right, Mataji? You understand? You've got to clear the spectacle, or at least you have to have the spectacle. Pure devotees are like spectacles. I'm not using it literally, I mean, but they act like that to give us a vision. Om Jnana Timrandasya, an idea. So Prabhupada is giving this, and Krishna book is like full-on idea, the essence of existence, the goal of Mahaprabhu's movement. He didn't come to teach, how to go to heaven, how to merge into Brahman, not even Vaikuntha, not even Ayodhya. It's interesting, if someone was in that mood, after one thing, he came to give everyone a chance to enter. It's like, let me say, the word is adbhutam here. Adbhutam? Yeah. Absolutely amazing. It's amazing time. You know why this Krishna book is so wonderful? Adbhutam? Why it's so wonderful? This Krishna book is so wonderful because I didn't write it. Krishna wrote it. It's how pure devotee sees it. It just, the instrument sounds mundane, but it is a transparent media for the heart of Krishna to manifest. Prabhupada was always like that. And when you're dealing with the material world, you have to come down to a platform sometimes, which sounds a bit, what we say, conditional almost. Devotional service starts at that platform, taking the condition and gradually trying to purify it. At the infant stage. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada himself said, infant, it's for infants. And when one comes a little bit more mature, then understanding a little Srimad Bhagavatam. And we don't jump into the 10th canto, although Prabhupada gave us the Krishna book. But he gave it in such a way. Why? Why? He didn't just, it's not just the verses. Huh? Pardon? He gave it in such a way that there's an understanding intertwined within. In such a way that it becomes very attractive. Persons who are very covered, it's just like some fictional stories which are very funny and interesting, and I don't know what we think. So for someone who's a little bit spiritually inclined, it's very attractive, isn't it? The pictures, my God. When we first saw the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Krishna book, when did it come out? 1970, I think it was first published. I think so. 2 beautiful, big, you don't get that now, big hardbound cover copies. Part 1, Part 2, and so many pictures, paintings, full of paintings. Now they've changed it, more sophisticated now. But I still like those old paintings. I don't know. I'm not even an infant, not even there. We've still got our nappies on. But those paintings are just so, they're so sweet. They're so simple. And so attractive. You just look at them. Fascinating. Fascinating. What is this? It's attractive. We may not understand it or enter into it, probably just hear it. Just hear it from the pure devotee. We don't just hear it, we hear it from the pure devotee. He's given it. It's Krishna's will. Krishna book. So important. We just hear it and purify, and we become attractive. And then what do we do now? There's a process. If you want something, there's a process to achieve it. Then, of course, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, first 9 cantos. We don't jump straight in there. And we start where we are, and move forward. Everyone's somewhere situated. There's a place for everyone to connect with Krishna. Maybe different from person to person, but everyone can make a connection. That is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Pure devotees, we're seeing now, the Lord appears in this world, manifests to what degree the eternal abode of Goloka. And as one becomes purified, one realizes that Gokula and Goloka are the same. From the conditional point of view, we're seeing that the land of Goloka reveals itself according to the eligibility of the seer. And that we generally define as Gokula. But actually there's no difference. As one becomes purified, then, as Prabhupada said, you realize this is Vrindavan. This is the spiritual. But for the conditioned state, the Lord reveals according to our surrender. He reveals himself, he reveals his Dham, he sends his pure devotees, will they willingly come. He gives the particular path according to time, place, and circumstance. When people are grossly materialistic, then he gives mundane religion, Naimita Dharma, temporary religion. The world is mostly familiar with that, at best, to some degree. It's the religions of today. They haven't really got much understanding beyond that. Some piety, some regulation, some fear created there to restrict their misbehavior, and some little bit of objective goal, love of God. But what that means is almost totally absent. Almost. So when one's more eligible, or at a certain time Mahaprabhu has appeared, to give that which is not normally so easily available, even to unqualified persons. But somehow or another, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made this available in this age that we're in. And Prabhupada has given the essence in the Krishna book, boom, straight in there. The goal right away. But he's given the means as well. In the Krishna book also, he's given various descriptions. But that's foundation. I'll read the rest of this. Well, with your permission, I'd like to carry on with this purport tomorrow. Is that okay? I know it's normally CC, but it's the beginning of the 10th canto, commentary. We got to Vrindavan and loving relationships with his confidential devotees. So by hearing about this, the idea is that we become attracted. We become attracted, not from the mundane point of view, but from the point of view of becoming eligible to enter into that confidential sangha. In Vrindavan, the Lord killed many demons. He married, and then he returned to Dwarka, where according to Vedic principles, different Buddha, he married many wives who were the best of women. Begot through them hundreds of sons. Quite a lot of sons. Huh? How many sons? The queens of Dwarka? 160,000? Yeah, 10 each, right? 161, or something like that, 160,000. 161,000, huh? Something like that. Sons. Now you imagine having 161,000 sons? Probably not. Even having 16,000 wives? I mentioned, the other day here, I don't know. But that means that every 50 years you can spend one night with each wife. Every 50 years. So probably not a very good arrangement. But as Krishna he's inconceivable, he's a kincha. He didn't just marry 16,000 wives, as most of you know. If you read the Krishna book, you'll see he married 16,000 wives, but he did what? See, a lot of people criticize Krishna for this, don't they? In India, people do that too sometimes, huh? Where do they get that from? Where do you get this from? I read it in that Bhagavatam, or the Padma Purana. What type of God is this? How can he be God? Right? When you think about it, who but God can do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? Oh, you changed? No. Oh, you're a man. Can you do that? Oh, can you marry one wife? Maybe. Not easy. Even that's not easy. For one husband, if you're in a female body in this lifetime, we get so hung up in the body, but generally speaking, if you're in a man's body now, you were probably in a woman's body in your last life, and if you're in a woman's body now, you're probably in a man's body in your last life. So what are you? You get so hung up with this body idea of, being this body, you just make it your own future material body, that's all. So how can any ordinary person, okay, maybe some powerful demigod, but the next, you have to read the whole verse, I think, if you want to come to a conclusion about Krishna and his godhood. It's not that he just married 16,108 wives. It's not that he just made, 161,000 boys. He had daughters too. You don't hear about that much. Who on earth were they all married? He had daughters also. Not so many in his case. He had one, it says one by each wife. So that would come to 16,108 daughters also. Right? So it's quite a big family. Quite a big family. Imagine having birthday parties. Non-stop. Non-stop. Getting them married, my God. How do you have no time for thinking? You think you're busy as TV? Relax. You know, what did he do? I mean, if you really believe this, you have to believe the whole thing, not the part. Don't be a chicken. You have to believe the whole thing. What else does it say in those series of verses?
He multiplied.
He multiplied, he was doing arithmetic. He studied mathematics. Explain it further. Huh? Multiply, what does that mean?
Expanded.
He expanded, got bigger and bigger and bigger. Explain it. Be specific.
You build a castle? No, but each
You got
wife
straw
is
huts for
different.
everybody? No. Castles? Chateaus?
Yeah.
More or less. But what did he do personally first? You married 16,108 wives, you spend your whole life just getting married. What did he do?
From like a demon?
Simple question. Come on.
Expanding.
Yeah, but what does that mean, he expanded?
Expanded
Specific.
into 16,800 forms.
Yes, he expanded himself 16,108 times. Can you do that? Yeah, well, if anyone says that, I just say that to them, you know. Okay, believe it. If you don't believe it, don't believe it. Just don't talk about it. If you believe it, and you're making a criticism of it, then you have to accept the whole thing, not the part. Otherwise, it's all myths. Forget about it. Go away. Just forget it. But if you accept that, and you start criticizing, you have to accept the fact in the same statement, he expanded himself personally 16,108 times. Can any ordinary person do that? You can't even expand yourself once. You can't even maintain your life. Even in this body, you're dwindling every day. Right? You're getting old. Right? Hair's going grey. Crinkles. Eyesight failing. No teeth left. Can't smell. Can't taste. Can't hear. What type of God are you, man? Who are you to speak on this? No energy, just pure envy. Pure envy. Not pure. Impure envy. It's a pure envy. Impure envy. Absolutely impure envy. And everything that comes from that. But this is the material world. So just people are a little way off becoming a little element. Prabhupada, still, you know, even if they see the Krishna books, they get some benefit is there. But for those who the Krishna book becomes an attraction, and still do, many of you, I don't always. Preetu Prabhu was telling me yesterday, day before yesterday, how every night he reads the Krishna book. There's a little exercise to help him sleep and reads the Krishna book. We used to do that every night. We didn't need exercise like that. Huh? Here? Here? Here.
Listen to my
Yeah, he listens to a recording of the Krishna book every night. Just hearing the pastimes of Krishna. You may sleep and you may dream of Krishna's pastimes. Oftentimes that happens when you become familiar with reading or hearing regularly the pastimes of Krishna. So attractive. So attractive. We may have to become a little eligible to really understand a little knowledge and then become more eligible to progress and eventually enter in. But the beginning is there, some attraction is developed. It's like when someone comes to the temple. Normally, they come because they have some interest. Maybe other reasons too. But some attraction is there. Let me go and check those crazy guys out at the new Mayapur. Go and have a laugh. But there's something there. It might be, not such a positive attraction. Let's go and see what we can pinch at the new Mayapur. Huh? Some people come with that intention also. Whatever it is, there's some kind of attraction there. Devotees, they can be also people inquisitive. They come up to you. What are you doing? Who are you? What are you dressed like this for? What's that stuff on your nose? Why you got that thing on your head? What's this all about? There's something there. It's not very, positive, but something is there. And they make a little start. Some little attraction is there. And then they remember it. It stays in their memory. Something stays in the memory. Got it? Something. It may not be very... It takes time to have this opportunity of making some connection with that absolute realm. Through one form or another. Prasadam, today they're going food for life. Prasadam, attraction, huh? People are attracted to prasadam, is it not? It's probably one of the most popular aspects of our movement. The prasadam. I don't like your philosophy, but I like your grub. Grub means food. Slang for food. What's that sweet sticky one you have? I really like that one. Sweet, utterly sticky one. Halwa. Addicted to it. Samosa. Samosas. I've told it before, but some of you were not here. I remember decades ago I was going to shop in New Zealand distributing books. I came to a butcher's shop. I had a terrible day. I'd done one small book in the dentist. That was the only one I sold all day. This was evening. And I came to a butcher's shop. And I don't particularly like going into butcher's shops. But this time I thought, well, I don't know, Krishna, what's going on today. So maybe you've got a plan. Let's give it a go. So I ventured into dressed like this. I ventured into the butcher's shop. And there's a big rotund, that means like round-faced butcher behind the counter, serving somebody had his chopping knife. There they go. And he looked at me, he said, "Chop!" I'm a vegetarian. He started laughing his head off. What are you doing here? Vegetarian? Are you joking? He was a jolly guy. He was laughing, I said, well, I thought you might be interested in... I struck it up. I went straight into the deep end. So I thought you might be interested in a vegetarian cookbook. He laughed his head off. A vegetarian cookbook? I said, well, you're married, right? Yeah, sure am. You eat vegetables sometimes? My wife cooks them sometimes. I'd say it's got some great vegetable dishes in here. You can have it alongside whatever else you want to eat. He looked at me straight in the eye. He said, he actually knew who I was. I knew I was a Hare Krishna. He said, well, I'll tell you one thing, son. He said, if it's got that recipe in there, I'll buy it. Which one? He said, those pies. Them pies. The pies you sell downtown. Those triangular pies. I love them, he said. I love them. Whenever I go to town, I buy all of them. He was addicted to samosa. Butcher. So I was praying that recipe was in there. I looked up in the index and sure enough, samosa was in there. He grabbed the book, gave me $50, and said, took the book. He was butcher, he wasn't poor. And he took the book. And I said, take this as well. And I gave him a hardbound Bhagavad Gita, which he took with him. So attraction. Attraction. Play on a person's attraction brought a plague on our attraction. Gradually connecting it to Krishna. Prasadam, holy name direct. Other things may be a little indirect, give a donation, this, that, the other, service, so many things. But somehow or another, becoming attracted to Krishna. This is the essence. At our stage, it's not the mood of spontaneous, irresistible, unimpeded, uninterrupted, loving attraction to Krishna and nothing else. No, it's not. We're not on that stage. We'll talk about that tomorrow, if Krishna allows. But that attraction must be created. How to attract people to Krishna consciousness. You don't expect that they're going to go the whole way. But somehow or another, to give some little attraction, some little favorable thought, even unfavorable, but better favorable impression of something to do with Krishna. I still forget. Whenever we go out, take prasadam. Maybe you'll meet somebody you can give somebody. Even a beggar comes up, says, they're begging for money or whatever. You give them a cookie or something they can relate with, books with you. Small ones, whatever, brochures, addresses, whatever, something. You never know. Krishna may send along. He's a very ambitious person, but at the same time, he's enthusiastic, willing to go through the process. And we're talking about, there's no bhaktas there. Alone with no one devotee with him. How are we going to do this? So we get a place. He was talking to one devotee somewhere in India, and he said, this devotee started a new devotee program with nothing, just himself. He thought, well, let me get some nice mattresses, let me make some nice arrangements, let me get some clothes, let me get some tilak, let me get this, that, and the other. There was nobody, just he and all these things. And within weeks, Krishna started sending people along to put the dhokis on and to lie in the beds. Interesting. We're not prepared. You're going to be prepared. If any of you are in the Boy Scouts or the Girl Guides, the motto is, what is their motto?
Always ready.
Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. A Boy Scout that is multiple usage knife is not a Boy Scout, right? It's got to be prepared to open a can, open a bottle, saw something, cut something, tie something. He's got to be prepared. We have to be. There's different levels of preparation, but even in the process, we have to be prepared. You never know. You never know. Especially, we don't know when Mr. Death will come along, do we? We don't know. We've got to get ourselves prepared. Just like you said, we don't just, class is over, 1 minute to go, breakfast time. I'm sorry, Prabhus, no preparation. Will we be happy? Will that satisfy us? You go out there, nothing's prepared. Will you be happy? Probably not. I don't think we're home. Thank you, Krishna, for your kind mercy today. You're so merciful. Obviously, you know what's best for me, and I have to practice humility and tolerance, independence, etc. Probably not. Right? So I think someone did prepare, but it's not. You better find out quick. Look, your car is right outside the door. You thought you made all the arrangements. It does happen sometimes. You thought you did everything, and somehow or another there was a misunderstanding, and they didn't turn up. Or whatever. We have to be prepared. So Bhagavatam is preparing us 9 cantos, one by one, to, let's say, become more eligible to digest in a healthy way 10th canto. Otherwise we can get constipation or diarrhea or just not want to eat anymore. Preparation. But to know the essence. Prabhupada also has a mind that maybe, who knows, if he'll even reach that point of translation, which he did and didn't. But he only managed up to 3 of the 10th canto, summary of the 10th canto in full in the Krishna book. It was a long-sighted section besides the immediate one of creating an attraction and giving us this what we need to hear to purify us, etc., in a way which was digestible, even at the beginning stages. And with your, you can decide otherwise, I don't mind, but I wanted to go a little further into the point which was mentioned already in the purport. We'll finish the purport tomorrow. Whoever writes, if that's the case, no need to put the verse on the board again, it's already there. And we'll carry on tomorrow. Any questions? You'll find out tomorrow. This very, what I just said, any questions, is the subject tomorrow.
Thank you very much for that discussion. It's wonderful. George Harrison played.
Excuse me?
George Harrison.
George Harrison, yes.
Played the first edition.
George Harrison.
When you wrote
All you need is love. Love is all you need. They had the Beatles, a famous song, huh? All you need is love, love is all you need. The essence of that, we can see his own commentary in the beginning of the Krishna book. He writes this, or it was written and he signed it. And he sponsored, he gave the donation. That's a long story of Shamsundar Prabhu tells of how he asked George Harrison for the donation for this Krishna book. That's another story, some other time. George Harrison sponsored or paid for the first printing of Krishna book. And sometimes we think, I've read that before. What else you got to read now? Oh, read Vidagda Madhava, Lalita Madhava, Ujvala Nilamani. Give me some interesting stuff. I've read the Krishna book already. What next? If you say that means we have not read the Krishna book.
It's also interesting that when this happened, when he got the donation, there was a sculpture of the Queen was sitting there.
Huh?
The sculptor, the artist who makes the coins for the Queen,
Oh, he was sitting there
he
too.
was
Yeah.
sitting there. And then, so it relates to another story, that when he was actually, the Queen was sitting for him to make a painting, he gave her the Krishna book. And the Queen was sitting at one stage in the shop of this painter, this artist, who was there when George Harrison got a donation, same guy, Wilson, or something, Wilkins or something. And then he gave her the Krishna book. And she read the Krishna book while he was making a model of her, whatever, painting. And then she said, when she was, after some time, she said, wouldn't it be marvelous if everybody could just depend on Krishna?
Yeah, she said that. Actually, it's in the database. I think his name's Wine.
Yeah, wine.
And he was the Queen's sculptor or artist.
Yeah.
And he came to see Prabhupada at the Bhaktivedanta Manor in 1973.
That's right.
And Prabhupada asked him, have you heard of Bhagavad Gita? And Shamsundar said he's already got one, the Bhagavad Gita. He said he's already got one, it's in the database, you can read it. And he said, actually, the Queen gave him. The Queen gave it to him. And then she said what you said, how wonderful it would be if everyone could depend upon Krishna. The Queen said it. At least that's what he said, she said. Right? It's right there in the database. Prabhupada. Yeah, so he was a friend of George Harrison's as well. Amazing how even the Queen, that's perhaps why she was the Queen for 70 years or whatever. I think that's the longest standing royalty in modern history, practically. And she wasn't an ordinary person. She had some Shakti, that woman.
yes.
Shamsundar gave a copy of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is to David Wine, a sculptor friend who had been contracted to make a sculpture of the Queen. While the Queen was posing before David Wine for the sculpture, she read from the Bhagavad Gita and after she commented, wow, marvelous it would be to completely trust Krishna. What a relief to be able to pass all responsibilities to him.
Amazing, huh? Absolutely amazing. Just see, she's not an ordinary woman. That's for sure. She had so much contact with devotees. She received many prasadam, garlands, many things. She came to her school, her Avanti school, her kirtan, all the deities. Not an ordinary person. Mundane, you could say.
Prabhupada said, that one has to learn how to surrender to Krishna. The sentiment is very nice. It is just fitting for a royal, because she, after all, is favored. She has taken birth in a royal family. So she is not an ordinary woman, and her intelligence must be extraordinary. So she hasn't made a remark like that. What are the exact words? And then he repeats it.
Amazing, huh? Prabhupada confirms. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gajraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
And that she said with a beautiful smile. And Prabhupada said, but the thing is, from our side, Krishna also expects something.
Yeah.
Krishna is not dead, reciprocal. If you fully surrender to Krishna, then Krishna takes full responsibility. But if you keep some reservation, Krishna also keeps the reservation. That's the end of the discussion.
But there's a follow-up too. In I don't know which year, 92 maybe, when the government agreed to allow us to continue worshipping in the manor, Bhaktivedanta manor was being, they wanted to close down the manor for public usage. And it went to the Parliament House. It was debated in the Parliament by the Prime Minister and the members of Parliament. The Queen's personal counsel was one of the main reasons we got the permission to carry on. He appreciated, he read Prabhupada Lilamrita, and he made some amazing comments about the Lilamrita. He was the Queen's counsel in Parliament House. She was not against us continuing. So she had some indirect, it's not direct but indirect. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We won't say Queen Elizabeth II.
Read it down somewhere.
Huh?
Where can I read up on that?
That's in Shiv Ramaj, one of the Vyasa Puja homages, many years ago. He went to see the Queen's Council, and the Queen's Council told him that he read Prabhupada Lilamrita, and he said to Shiv Ramaj, he said, your teacher is not an ordinary man. Shiv Ramaj didn't know what to say. He said, you can't understand why I say this, because I'm in my 70s. Your teacher, what he did in his 70s is not humanly possible, he said. It's not possible for a human being to do what he did. He had some realization. He was the counsel for the Queen in Parliament. Jai Shri Prabhupada.